a split. Mizzy in front of the 100. Crone goes up the inside and Crone takes the lead in the Gilmore. Crone draws clean out from Mizzy. It's a Queensland victory. Crone beat Mizzy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mock Sports Presents the Quaddie Poddy. Cashy, joined by Nick. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Hopefully for a better week again this week. Couple of second place.
Oh, don't even talk to me about it, mate. We're like the first week, shocking. We were just right off. This week, we walked in full of confidence, and as we should, but not as much confidence as we should have had because I went second, scratched, second, fourth, sixth, first, second, first, and then over at Flemington, second. I walked out with an account full of bonus bets, essentially.
Yeah, unlucky, mate. It's a bit better than me still. So
A great game. Well, your best bet got up.
Best bet got up. That multi got up, so it was not too bad for us. But we had it into Jimmy Star.
Yeah, oh, geez. It could have been even better.
Could have been even better, but I decided to leave Jimmy Star in just for a little bit of extra cash because I was like, nothing's beating this thing. Unless it was an absolute shocking ride, and guess what happens?
$126 on
Bang.
the post. Bang. Made me sick to my stomach watching it on the big screen.
I was screaming. We're in that lightning delay for cricket, a tactical lightning delay, and was watching it and I was screaming at my phone.
But yeah, other things to touch on from the day, just a couple of them. We'll start with Flemington because there's only one major thing apart from Jimmy Star. We'll discuss that a little later. But Riff Rocket, oh my goodness me. Derby winner, doing that first up over 1,400 metres, just ridiculous.
Yeah, didn't see that coming. I think it was paying like $9 or $10. King Colorado looked like it was going to be the best chance there.
Oh, and it did. In the race, it did everything right. King Colorado stalked Riff Rocket around the corner. Like, as Riff Rocket started to, press the button, King Colorado just followed him. And they came to, it's exactly what he should have done. The exact right tactics. Just follow Riff Rocket all he goes, let him card him into it. And then they got to about the 200 mark. They came level. I thought King Colorado is going to go whooshka here. But no, Riff Rocket said, come catch me. And then ran past all of them and got up. And like I said, ridiculous for a horse that should be a stayer, considering it's a Derby winner, doing that over 1,400 first up.
Yeah, it's a bit like Solcombe's win in spring when it won first up as well. It's a bit of a stayer
really big
as well.
price because no one expected it to get anywhere near it, and then all of a sudden comes out.
Bit of the same. Everyone thinks it's running for a bit of fitness and then came out and win. I think one of my mates is on it at cricket, so shout out to him.
Yeah, another thing, we'll go to back to Randwick. I saw something that I was very impressed with, and I made waves on social media when I claimed the very next day, Fangirl, best in the country. Try and change my mind. You're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to either. But Fangirl is the absolute best in the country.
You're so full of it, mate.
Mate, did you see what she did? It was ridiculous.
It was good. It was great.
Dogged past him. I didn't even get broken into a run.
Who'd she race against?
Think It Over, Buckaroo.
Think It Over's past his prime. It is. I think Fangirl, good run, but there's no way you can say, in my opinion, Brightside's better, Imperatrice is better. Like,
would you have said though, first up, who Brightside raced against in the CF4? Do you think that was a harder field? The Pride of Jenny's, Buffalo River, Pericles, and the likes, and Ayrton. Do you think that was harder or a stronger field than Fangirl faced on the weekend?
I think the field's not too dissimilar, but I think Pericles and Pride of Jenny is a step up from
Think It Over,
and Buckaroo and
Militarize. I don't know. I think the argument's there. I think if anything, they're on similar. I
don't disgrade her run at all. It was fucking insane. It was amazing. It was a great run.
Winx-like, mate.
Yeah, Winx-like. Come on, get off it. Come on, get off it.
That was Winx-like. Just jogged.
Oh my god,
completely jogged.
You're kidding me.
I'm not saying she is Winx, but it was a Winx-like.
You're saying she's the best horse in the country. As soon as I saw it, I commented delusional. As many people would say, I put it on my account, I put delusional. But, yeah, look, I think it's a bit of a stretch to what? You've seen Brightside do it literally every single, like, except for a couple that probably Jenny got, but Brightside has dominated for the last in every big race, and then Fangirl has come back and won one race, and you put her above. I just couldn't believe it. Same with Imperatrice, has not lost. Imperatrice has not lost.
What's Imperatrice up to? Like 9 straight now or something? Or 9 from the last 10? Or?
So that's not helping your own argument. I don't understand.
But my thoughts is Imperatrice, like in Brightside, their last few starts, like yes, they've gotten the job done because winners win, as we've discussed many times, but far out they've made it look tough. Like, but Fangirl just did it with absolute ease, arrogance, didn't get out of second gear at all. That was like...
Have you ever seen her do that before?
That was Winx like...
Have you ever seen her do that before?
Well, no, but I think she's in for a huge prep. If she continues to do that...
I agree, you're only as good as your last prep, all right? I agree, she's a great horse and that was a fantastic run. But to put her above Brightside and put her above Imperatrice, I just can't do that at the moment until I see more.
I think she doesn't lose this spring. I can't see anything being...
Look, the opinion, I think the opinion's fair, but to go into it and say, you can't change my mind and you're defined on it, that's where you lost me. That's why I commented delusional.
Didn't like the arrogance of it?
No, it's arrogant. It was arrogant. I need some water after that.
Bit of a reality check for me. But I'm confident. I think...
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the video, when I saw the video, I thought, he's doing the he's
clickbaited here.
He's clickbaited for a bit of views, and then as you walked in, we talked about it. I said, "Did you do that for views?" You go, "No, I'm 100% serious." I'm like, "Fuck, are you serious, mate?" But then I was like, you know what? I know we were going to talk about it on here, and I stopped and I said, "We'll talk about it in a minute," because I didn't want to get my delusional.
Is there any other horses you think that would be in the conversation apart from Imperatrice and Brightside? Or those three stand clear above the rest?
I think they're pretty clear. You want to throw Alligator Blood in there. You got more horses, obviously, without a fight.
I think it's tough in racing because
you got so many
distances, you know? Like you're never going to see Imperatrice race against Brightside and Fangirl, and you're probably never ever going to see them race without a fight unless they both went to like a Cox Plate.
But my thought process here is, I feel like you're trying to replace, and it is probably we need to touch on it as well. We
were eventually going to touch on it. Yeah.
You're trying to replace your love for a horse, and it was Very Elleegant was your last one, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Sad news during the week, obviously, and I think you've been trying very hard to make it Fangirl, and then she's had that run, and you've done it. That's what I think.
I don't know. I hadn't really thought of that because I made that claim before Very Elleegant.
I understand. I understand that, but still, I still believe what I said is true. And then, if Imperatrice was Nature Strip and Nature Strip won 9 in a row, you would say Nature Strip is. If Nature Strip won the races Imperatrice has won,
just because it's Nature Strip.
Just because it's Nature Strip, you would have said Nature Strip is the best horse in the country.
Yeah, I think you've stumped me. That's a good point.
I think you've got some bias in this.
I've been caught up in the name.
You're getting caught up in you get like this with some horses. I'll be honest. You can see it, punters, and all of you know it. I think someone even commented, "Stick to Osmosis, champ." Like you fall in love with these horses. They're good horses. Don't get me wrong. Like Osmosis is a good horse, and Fangirl now and Very Elleegant, but you get very caught up, and I feel like Fangirl is your new Very Elleegant replacement. Not that was a replacement because she had passed, but because she had retired.
Maybe. I hadn't thought of it from that. Maybe subconsciously.
His point maybe turned.
Oh, well, but I guess, we were going to wait a little bit later in the show to touch on it. We debated whether or not we were going to open it before even the sting went for the theme song or if we were going to touch on it, but we just decided to give her her own time before we really get into the rundown. Shattering news. Very Elleegant dies during childbirth over in Europe. The foal doesn't survive either. So there goes Very Elleegant and her potential legacy to live and race on in blink of an eye. Very sad.
Yeah, it's upsetting. It's very sad to see.
I really appreciated though when I texted you. You were like, "Oh, how are you? I was like, I tried to palm it off. I was like, Claire's real cut up. She was. Shout out Claire. She was very cut up about it. And you're like, no. How are you?
No,
I
knew.
appreciate that.
I knew you'd be upset. I don't really have too much emotional connections into horses as much as you do, but I know you. Yeah, really like that horse. So.
It's because she hooked me. Like I wouldn't be this passionate about racing if I hadn't come into contact with that horse. Like one of my first big wins on the punt was her winning, then went on to win Caulfield Cup, and then of course that was all during COVID. So won a lot of money on her, and that was just I like this horse because I've won a lot of money on it. And then first time we actually got to go to the races, her first Chipping Norton. You, me and the boys down there on the post, and like, I can't remember now if it was Colette or someone else like looked home for all money, and then all of a sudden, Very Elleegant, because she just, the way she was just so gutsy, flew, got the job done. I was on her again. It was half winning money and it was half like, fuck, I love this sport. Like, that's hooked me. Like, I'm chasing that feeling of just like, figuring out a winner and just like watching fast horses run fast. It was just incredible. And like that would probably, that of the Melbourne Cup goes down as my favourite Very Elleegant moments. Do you have a moment that sticks out from her career, mate? Because she was pretty important to our pod for when she was racing. I'm wearing her silks in our art for a reason. She was my favourite horse ever. But yeah, like she was one of the original mock horses. So do you have any memories?
Yeah, probably that Chipping Norton, Melbourne Cup. Melbourne Cup was up there. I wasn't on. Neither were you.
I just had my loyalty bet,
Cup.
$20. It wasn't my tip, but I was glad she got up.
Yeah, probably that first Chipping Norton. I think it was my first race day or second race day.
Both of us, like we hadn't been to races before on a Saturday to a big day.
Yeah, no, it was it's pretty upsetting to be honest, but. It's all a part of it, unfortunately. Part of life.
Yeah, it's the circle of life, nature. Show must go on. Very sad the timing as well. Next week I'll be attending Very Elleegant Stakes Day. They say it's going to be a very somber event now. They're planning a big sort of tribute to her. My thing, I just thought it was sad. She never got to come back to Australia. Because she was sent over to Europe to race and breed there, and
I was surprised that she breeded over there.
And I'm sad she didn't get to be serviced by Frankel. That would have been a super baby, in my opinion. Frankel ex Very Elleegant. I was really looking forward to Very Elleegant's kid and Winx's kid going head to head Queen Elizabeth Stakes in a few years' time, but not to be. We'll move on, mate. Anything else to touch on?
No, we'll get into listener questions on a bit more of we'll get back into a happier note.
Back in the happy.
We talked about it before. Jimmy Star, Craig Williams from Uncle Camo. Is Craig Williams overrated in big races? So far has missed a win on Jimmy Star, Giga Kick and Solcombe. Geez, he can butcher some. Look, like there was a question when Giga Kick's race came out and I said, look, you've got to a jockey has got to react obviously to how the race happens, and I understand that, and I'm no jockey in it. I've got so much respect for jockeys, and we've spoken to jockeys before, and we know how hard it is, what they do. But from what I've seen recently, about twice now, in Jimmy Star and Giga Kick has gone complete different plans to how it's been trained, how Craig Williams has been told. It's kind of tough to keep backing him, backing him up. I backed him up until just kept going with Giga Kick and said, look, unless he's gone against the orders, which has come out that he did with Jimmy Star, it's making me think, geez, maybe he did go against the orders for Giga Kick as well.
It's a tough one.
I don't think he's overrated in big races.
Solcombe's not his fault. I'll say that one.
Solcombe's not his fault.
Just always misses the start. That's not Craig Williams' fault. Giga Kick, I mean, I'm not saying it was his fault, but that ride did a number on him. Giga Kick's not racing until the spring, so a full year out. Jimmy Star, I think the argument against it is like, Yeah, he went against the instructions, ridden upside down, not a leader. But his argument was there was no pace in the race. Like, he's the best horse in the race. He should be able to win from anywhere. And I think that's a solid argument. Like, if he's good enough, he should have been beating that field, let alone a $126 horse. But, again, I can't back up the fact that he went against instructions. As a jockey, like, I'm not potting a jockey. Yeah. I'm not saying that I can do what you do, but you're supposed to ride to instructions.
Like, the way I look at it is trainers train these horses. The jockeys don't train the horses. The jockeys ride the horses and they ride to instructions because they probably don't know the horse as well as the trainers know the horse. The Eustace camp, Ma camp, now it's only Ma, have trained Jimmy Star to be a midfield horse. That's why Mike came out and said he
pure
goes,
run on horse.
Pure run on horse, follow and then kick home. And those are the instructions, and he's gone out and taken it to the lead, and the rest is history. I kind of like, it's hard because I'm like, well, first of all, the question is he overrated in big races? No. He's been on Brightside. Brightside's won plenty.
He's going to come out and he's going to win another Group 1 on Brightside this week.
So I scrap that straight away. He's not overrated in big races. I think he has a tendency to not, I think when he's in a panicked manner and he has to make that quick decision when he's racing, he doesn't make the right decisions. And I think every jockey does it every now and again, but a lot of jockeys and a lot of good jockeys don't get it wrong in the big races. That's what I think. To get it wrong, that wasn't necessarily a big race, but
yeah, a big race in the punter's eyes, a lot of money was lost.
Yeah,
it's $1.20. But I don't know. From my point of view, strike one, strike two. I think if another one comes along in the next 6
is not
months,
a strike at all.
Yeah, no. Solcombe, write that off. Gear kick strike one, Jimmy Star strike two. If another big chance in a race comes along and like goes against instructions, and I'm not potting a jockey, but in my experience in life, if you continually do things like that, you get a bit of a reputation, and then that could look negatively upon him. But again, I'm not writing him off completely to answer the question. We'll move on. Alessandro, he said, I know this isn't horses, but he just wants to know why isn't Carlton the premiership favourites? I'll let you take that one.
I'm not going to answer stupid questions on this podcast. Why are Carlton not the premiership favourites?
Yeah.
Because that's the way it should be. They're not. They're not good enough.
They suck.
Yeah. They had their best year last year. They went further than they should have.
They shouldn't be premiership favourites. Plain and simple. They might win the premiership, but no bookmaker's going to give them odds on.
Why would you?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a tongue-in-cheek kind of question. But come on, brother.
We'll move to Daniel
Come on,
brother. Topic I'm quite passionate on, and I'll try my best not to go on a ramble streak. I've been discussing it with a few people on Twitter. Sorry,
Twitter. It's actually X.
X now. Shout out Mickey Gannon from SEN Track. I discussed it a bit with him on X. What does the racing industry need to do to get crowds back to the races and youths invested in races and yada, yada, yada? We always go on about it in the industry. I'm sure we've answered this many a time on the pod, but just Nick, I want you to give your thoughts. Has it changed from the last time we've discussed it?
I think autumn, like spring, spring's all right. They can probably get away with spring. I think they need to drop the prices of alcohol, which they won't do.
Inflation.
Yeah, it's too expensive. You're paying $12 for a beer there. Like,
it was $14 for a Canadian on the weekend, I think.
Yeah, it's not fun. You know what I mean? Like, you're better these days, if I was going down to the track to be with my mates and have a drink, it's honestly better off to go to a pub, get still expensive, like $8 schooner over there, save half the money. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably a bit better. But do that. The acts that follow have been good in the past. They probably lacked a bit this spring, I thought.
The musical acts?
Yeah, I thought the year before they were pretty good.
The autumn one's even worse. They've got the same people every week.
Autumn sucks.
It's not a rotating. It's the same.
Autumn
sucks. I can't remember if it's Hot Dub Time Machine or if it's Furnace and the Fundamentals. Or
it won't be Furnace and the Fundamentals.
can't remember, but I know it's one that they've had before. I think it's Hot Dub. If I'm
Furnace
fact
are
check
pretty
me
good.
if you want, but I'm pretty sure Hot Dub's playing every week. Like, so there's no real incentive to go just for the concert because it's every week.
Nah, they need to bring a big DJ. Oh, sorry.
What did I say this time last year? Get Fred again.
You can't get Fred again.
You're not going to be able to, but like,
You're not getting
geez,
that guy.
imagine if you got him. There'd be a lot of people at Randwick Racecourse that day.
It's a bit different though, because if you get that kind of demographic in, like a lot of people probably do a lot of silly things when
Attracts trouble.
It does attract trouble.
It's one thing the members don't love is the trouble that the big music acts attract post races.
No, I don't know. They need to bring something. I think that dropping the price of drinks would help. Bit more advertising. I don't see any advertising for horse racing. Obviously,
That's mine.
There's gambling laws, but you don't necessarily have to advertise gambling with it.
Yeah, the marketing and the presentation of races is stuck in the 80s. It's fucking dreadful, in my opinion. Excuse my French, but especially when it comes to marketing towards the youth, you see no real advertising around racing apart from come Everest time, and that's still even not that much. It's like racing's allergic to social media, in my opinion. Like, if you want young people to come, you've got to be seen where they're looking. It's social media. And just the presentation of racing sucks. Like, you're not focusing on the things that racing's all about. Like, yeah, there's the gambling side. We've got to make sure people gamble, but also embrace the stars, embrace the trainers, embrace the jockeys, embrace the horses. Like, in my own opinion, I don't think I should be looked at like an idiot for, going to the races to see a specific horse because I'm a fan of that horse. People pot me for being a fan of Osmosis. It's not that long ago that people were going to races just to see singular horses. Like, again, I'm not saying Osmosis is Winx, Black Caviar, or Maccabi
Sorry, can we
Diva.
get that? What'd you say? Osmosis is better than Winx.
No. But like,
No.
And those weren't the only horses back then. There were many more horses that people would go specifically to see them. So I just think that marketing sucks. That's where it needs to start. Market to young people better and they'll come.
All right, we'll wrap it up because there's a bit of rambling going on here. Just a reminder, give us a like, rate, Spotify, Apple Podcast, all of the above. Do what you have to do. And a big shout out to our friends at Dabble.
Yes, join the 27,000 plus punters following us on Dabble now. All the tips we give in this podcast, you'll be able to click one button, copy bet button, straight into your bet slip, and you can put as much as you want on. But when doing so, make sure to gamble responsibly, set a deposit limit, and think about what you could be buying instead. Use the code MOCSports when signing up to let them know we sent you. All right, mate. Track, currently a soft 7. Was a scorcher today, set to be a scorcher tomorrow. So it'll probably dry out, but there is rain predicted overnight, Friday to Saturday, and on Saturday morning. So I'm predicting that it's going to be a soggy track. But again, you never know with these weathermen. Could end up being good. Just be aware that you need to find horses that can get it done in either the good or the wet. Rail in the true position should be as fair gets. Race 1, 1,500 metres. Farrow's Rain here. I was on her a few weeks ago. She ran a solid third behind Black Duke. And her issue was mostly just the shorter distance. She gets better the further she goes. And the jump in distance by 150 metres here should help immensely. Clark should get her into a nice position. Get behind the speed. Cheeky each way play. I believe it's paying about $9 and $3 a place. Farrow's Rain all the way.
Yeah, I'm on Descendant Tail, $12 and $3.80. Last start, second place. Looks pretty good for me behind Invincible Legend. Dill Gibbons, let's go. That'll be mine the first. Head over the second, Highway. Pretty hard one. I'm sticking with Belvedere Boys. Going to forgive its last run. 4th place last start. Gets the extra 200 metres. Only missed out by just a length and a half. So $3.90 will be my tip for the second.
Vino Lass. Lightly raced. Full of improvement to come in my opinion. From the look of her starts to date, she seems like she could be a horse that could eventually eclipse Highway class. And has only ever run in the wet. So if it does get soggy on the weekend, she'll be fine. Only query is she's never gone past 1,100. It's 1,400 here, obviously. But her first up run suggests she's got the run in the legs. So I think if she does, in fact, get out that distance, she'll be hard to beat. She is also at a very nice price of the $9 to win, $3.30 to play. So I'll take that all day. Race 3. You got She's an A-lister and Dipsy Doodle, mate. Those are the horses that share the top of the market right now. They're both currently circling around $4. Dipsy Doodle, fantastic prospect, but the word is she might be running on Canterbury Friday night. Even if she does go to Saturday, I think She's an A-lister is the horse to be with. Beat my best bet last start in Tintuki by the bob of the head on the straight, and that made it 3 straight wins. All of which were just as impressive as the other. Really knuckles down in all of them and just gets the job done. Bjorn as a trainer, absolutely flying. Like I said last week, he's training at about a 35% win rate at the moment. So, I mean, he's going to win every third or fourth race. I think this is one of those ones he's going to win. Also, $4.20 to win for She's an A-lister. I'll happily take that in the third.
I'm an extravagant star here, $5.50, $2.10. It's come back from a spell, won its last start before it went back. It'll be mine. So head over to race 4. Really like this race, Silver Slipper, 1,100 metres. Another big race going into the Golden Slipper.
Yes.
Espionage, Straight Charge, probably the lead favourites. Erno's Cube, probably been forgotten about lately, but this is the chant. This is probably its race before it probably gets across to its name for the Golden Slipper, in my opinion. Celerity as well was the big favourite, or not big favourite, was the favourite going into, was it just the favourite, sorry.
Yeah, it would have been, yeah.
Second favourite going into the race last week. Comes out to $13 after that 4th place start. I think we were both on that horse as well. I have to be with Espionage here, $2.50 for the win. I just think it gets over Straight Charge just by the smallest of margins. It's pretty tight between the two. Like I said, Gay absolutely dominates these races, so Espionage for me.
Yeah, look, I'm going to have a 2-player in these races. We like to do in these 2-year-old races when we see one that's short and then one that's at a huge price, because we've done it a few times already this year. Hopefully I can land another one here. First play, Straight Charge, speaks for itself. Second in the Breeders' Plate, win the Drinkwise Plate. Late last year, could have gone to Magic Millions, didn't, got kept on ice to make sure it was ready to peak come Golden Slipper time and not use its juice too early. So $2.60 for that. That'll be my first play. Second is Gatsby's for Chris Waller. Waller's 2-year-olds have been running really well lately after a bit of a slow start. You know, we've all seen what Switzerland's been able to do at the races. And he has been trialling super, Gatsby has. So considering he's on debut here, unlike a lot of them, he won't have the fitness edge, but there's going to be a lot of intent to win, because he's going to need to win if he wants to be there on Golden Slipper Day, because I don't see him making his way up the order of entry in such a short amount of time if he isn't getting the job done in a race like this. There's not going to be many other races that he's going to be able to go and perform well in if he's not doing well here. So he's at $34 to win, $5 to place. I think that's worth cheeky $2.50, $5 each way. And if he gets up, you owe me a beer. As we move on to race 5, stacked race here with a lot of the country's B-list stayers. Usually I'd be on one of the bigger names like the Ententes, the Lofts, the Canberra Legends of the world. Jeez, Ententes. He's a big one in the mock circle. But So United has the fitness edge and is absolutely flying. Won 2 races really well so far this prep. Likely this is the race that they had in mind. Maybe one more start after this, I would think, or I don't know. I can't comment what Gay's cooking up in her head, but they definitely would have had this race in mind, because it's been on ice since that great win up in the Gold Coast. So at $10, I'm keen to have a play on him. He'll push the front, kick hard, and can definitely end up in the money.
I have to have an each way play on Entente. I have to. It's one of my favourite horses. $27 to $6.50. I'm pretty sure I've done that back, maybe not last year, the year before, so many times, and it used to always just come second or third at like $7 place odds.
One of the more consistent horses going around that spring that it really jumped off the page.
Probably peaked, but it's probably dying down now. How old is it now? 7. So yeah. Anyhow, my tip will be Diamil, $4. I think it'll be the best chance in this one. Coming just behind Marquise is good enough form for me to go off. So J-Mac hops on and it'll be my tip. So head over to race number 6 to 1,400 metres. Benchmark 100. Marquise is your favourite, $3.80. I'm going to have to get off here after that last start. I wasn't too happy with it. Lost 3 lengths to the winner. I'm going to go with Robusto here. 2 J-Mac horses in a row. The J-Mac Waller combo, $5 and $2 for a place. Last start came second, 0.2 of a length behind. Not even going to attempt that horse's name, and then won the start behind that. So, it'll be my tip.
Marquess or Faulkner Park? That's the question I was tossing and turning with. How could I possibly pick between the two? They're two of my more favourite high benchmark listed horses going around. But luckily, the distance chose for me. Faulkner Park gets over much longer. This should be a fitness run for it. Can get in the money, but I can't see it winning over 1,400. You watch, it'll come out and win now. So Marquess gets the 1,400. So $3.90 for Marquess. Happy to take it. Also carries feathers. Well placed here. Race 7, you've got Lady Laguna and Zoo Gotcha. Is it a 2-horse race, mate?
Yeah, I'd say so. Zoo Gotcha, I'm going to just steal your words. Zoo Gotcha is going to be my tip at $4.80. I think, she's too good to leave out. I think she's a great horse, and Waller really treats her very well. It's probably one of Waller's top mares at the moment, apart from Fangirl. But yeah, it's going to be mine. And then I say Lady Laguna will run top 2 no matter what. But it's Zoo Gotcha. I reckon if she's at her best, she can win. But if she's not at her best, she'll fall outside the top 2. So that's where I'm at with is it a 2-horse race?
Zoo Gotcha brings her best, she wins. We've seen what she can do at her best. Last spring, didn't fire a shot, but I feel like that's because my sneaky suspicion always was trained to be a sprinter when she's not, just to have that backup sprinting option for the Everest for Waller. Luckily, Espiona came along and took that off for him, even though Espiona also not really a sprinter, but was able to sprint better than Zoo Gotcha was. So if Zoo Gotcha can get back to the more typical distances we've seen her at in the past, she can have a really big prep. But I've got to go with a horse that has the fitness edge on her no matter what. Lady Laguna also loves wet track, so if we end up with a soggy deck, she'll absolutely fly. Sheila just needs to let her go. The old saying, let fast horses run fast. At $2.20, she's short, but she's one of the more confident bets of the day, if I'm quite honest. I just think with the form she's in and the fitness edge, she'll be able to nail Zoo Gotcha. Take us race 8, mate.
Race 8, I'm going to keep it pretty simple at the 1,400. I'm going to be on Tom Kitten. I'm going to forgive its first start, falling 3.5 lengths behind Caballas. It's a good horse. Second up, it's probably better than first up. It's had 2 starts, 1 win and 1 third place. So hopefully that first run goes just as fitness, gets the extra 200 metres, hopefully runs a bit better. Tom Kitten for me. It's at a good price as well if you want to back it punters where I think. If it wins here, it'll come back down to probably the $2.50-ish. So $3.20 is probably a good price to have.
I got the blinkers on for one horse only. Celestial Legend. I said in the season premiere that it was going to win a Group 1 this prep. Probably D-Day for that. If it doesn't perform well here, I can see maybe it only winning a listed race this prep. But fitness just gave out last start. So added fitness, added distance. I think he can make it in the money, if not win at $7, $2.40 to place. As we move to race 9, very interesting race here, mate, at the 1,100 metre mark. You got Broodnell, Frilled, Derry Grove and Renosu. Why is that interesting, you ask? Because these 4 horses were all in a blanket finish and they finished within a whisker of each other. I heard the photo finisher had a bit of a nightmare separating them all 2 weeks ago at Randwick. Very evenly matched by the handicapper on that day, and they are again here. Derry Grove gives 6 kilos to Frilled, but I have to be with him. Loves the wet, loves the distance, absolutely flying. Solid each way price of $6 to win, $2.20 to place. Have to take him on here, Derry Grove for me.
I'm taking Frilled. Like you said, probably good chance, good race it was last start. But yeah, Frilled for me has only missed the win on one, and there was that time. So as we head over to the last, boys, benchmark 78. Your favourite here is Gently Rolled, which I know you like, mate, which we'll get into in a minute. I'm going to be on True Crime. I'm going Kim Moore. I know we discussed it before. It's trialled really well. I'm going to come across $21 and $5 for a place. It's going to be mine. I
do like that horse, especially if it's wet. It's a swimmer. But I've got a problem, Nick. For the 4th week in a row, I've gone the favourite in the Get Out Stakes. I'm getting boring. I'm getting very boring, but Gently Rolled just looks too good for me here. Comes off a nice win and meets quite a few horses that he beat in the last start. Drawn to do no work, should get in a good spot in transit, can go in all conditions, should be really strong late, $3.30 to finish off the day. As we move into the tip-off, mate, 3 races the tip, all down in Melbourne. Again, We've got the Blue Diamond, we've got the Futurity, we've got the Oakley. Let's just touch on the Oakley and Futurity quickly before we get into the main event of the Blue Diamond, the big 2-year-old race. A lot to unpack there, but we'll keep it pretty short and simple, I would think, with the Futurity. Brightside versus the World. Does Brightside get it done or not?
If Brightside wins, I might have to tip someone else for a place for our tip-off. Brightside wins. Punters. Trying to see where the value's at.
I'm going Brightside win, Buffalo River, top 4, same race multi. You should get around 280 for that. And Buffalo River is going to be my tip for the tip-off just because loves Caulfield, loves the distance, was able to challenge Brightside over this trip and conditions last start. Hopefully does again and manages to get in the money and gets me 2.5 points. That's essentially what I'm doing. We're pretty even still. We're only a couple of weeks in, but I need to start getting points, and I'll get more points for Buffalo River placing than Brightside winning.
Yeah, I'll take Pericles for a place, $2.15 for a place, but Brightside wins.
Winners win, mate. Race 9, Oakley Plate. Probably one of the more open editions of the Oakley Plate I've seen in the last couple of years. The last few years, there was 1 or 2 horses standing above the rest. What are your thoughts?
Well, I said it not last week, the week before. Asphora is one of my horses that I'm following pretty closely, so I'm gonna back her here, $5.50, $2.15. So yeah, give her a go in her first one. She came second behind Kalos, who's paying $13. So interesting, but we'll wait and see. 1,100 meters probably suits her a bit better.
I mean, it's a strong race. Not on name value, but I think they'll all be strongly matched because they're all B to C list sprinters within the country. No real A-listers coming here, in my opinion. The real interesting prospect is King's Gambit at $4.40, your favourite, 50 kilos, carries absolute feathers. If it runs as good as we've seen it in the past, should be winning, but will it? Very inconsistent from what we've seen in the past, so I just can't trust it. Instead, I'm going to be going Stripper, however you say it. Absolutely flying right now, well placed here, gets in well at the weights, climbing the grades very, very nicely, has managed to snag a listed win and a Group 3 win in his last 2 starts, should push forward, hopefully finds his way into the money, if not win, $9.50, $3.10 to place. If it gets up, gladly take those 13 points there. As we get to the Blue Diamond, mate, the main event, but of course we like to touch on these key facts and stats. Have you got them in front of you, mate?
Yep.
All right, mate. Here are the key facts and stats that you need to know before making your pick in the Blue Diamond Stakes.
This is typically a boys' race. 15 of the last 23 winners have either been a colt or a gelding. 19
of the last 23 winners have won their lead-up race.
A favourite hasn't won the race since 2016.
Barriers 4 and 5 are the most successful barriers in the last 40 years with 6 wins apiece.
And barrier 6 has not ever produced a winner for this race.
Yes, that's what I found in the
Bodyguard.
Research. Bodyguard apparently has to create history there. So, I mean, again, one of the more open editions of this race that I've seen in recent years. Of course, as is typical with this race, you come into it with a couple of short favourites that you think, yeah, they're winning, and then a value horse ends up running over the top, as we've seen in the past. Little Bros last year, Dormier, I believe, was the year before, and then Artorias the year before that. So, I mean, you've got Coleman that sticks out as the $3.80 favourite, the Boom Horse. You've also got High Octane and Lady of Camelot. Those are the ones that everyone's talking about. But just don't be surprised, punters, if someone comes out of absolute nowhere and runs over the top of them here. Yeah. What are your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, it's hard. It's a big one going into. This is where a lot of the money is going to go for Slipper. So watch closely. If you see a horse that runs well and it somehow gets a start in the Slipper, by all means, it could be a good shot. It's 2-year-olds are very, very tough. But yeah, I saw Ben Mellon come out and absolutely talk up Coleman and say Coleman is as good as it can be. He's going to win type of thing.
It's everything but a M word.
Yeah, so but I don't know. I'm very, very intrigued. What are you thinking, mate?
Look, it's so open. I mean, you've got Coleman, High Octane, Bodyguard, Spywire. They're all great chances, but there's one horse that sticks above the rest for me, and I know that it's usually a boys' race, but Lady of Camelot. She couldn't have been more impressive when on debut.
I think I'm agreeing with you here.
She was so good. Had fantastic sustained speed, which, as we know by now, really important in these key 2-year-old races. You need to be able to sustain the speed the whole way and not have that engine give out. So Adam Hieronymus goes to Melbourne as well, specifically for this horse, chasing a new ride after he got kicked off of Stormboy. So, I mean, there'll be a lot of intent to win here, because if he does well here, he would have secured another really top ride in the slipper. I think $4.80 is a gift in my mind, as I believe she should be favourite. I'm not saying she's guaranteed to win. You can't say that in punting, but I was just really surprised she didn't go up favourite here. So I think she's at least $2 more than I expected. So I definitely think that's an edge here up the Lady of Camelot.
The other problem I see here is 2-year-olds travelling. You never know how they go with travelling
as well.
But I will be with Lady of Camelot as well. It's probably one of my favourites looking at the trials.
Was your top girl coming out of the trials?
So, and then Manal beat her, and Manal was my Manal came.
So yeah, beat Manal.
No, Manal beat her in her first run.
Oh yeah, of course. You're talking about the plate, the gym crack. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. Yes.
Way to disrespect me like that.
Sorry. Yes.
Lost my train of thought.
You were talking about the last start. Yeah. In the gym crack.
Disrespectful. Lady of Camelot. Done. Shake hands? No, I'm not touching that.
No? Okay. All right. Around the grounds, I'll keep it pretty simple. All reliable Dunkel in the first in Caulfield. He's super horse. He'll be winning no matter what weight he has on his back. He's just that tough. He's just that strong. $3, good enough for me. Caulfield race 6. Gold Trip is back at the races, $2.60. The race is short of his best distance, but I mean, look at the field. You think that class just has to carry him a long way here. So $2.60, I'll be taking Gold Trip, and that's about it. There's nothing real else around the country that spooked my interest.
Fair enough, mate. I've only got I got two, sorry. Revolutionary Miss, $4 last at Caulfield, and then Boom Talk, race 6 at Doomden.
Lovely. Quaddie, we've got Zoo Gotcha, Lady Laguna, How Good Are You, and Lekvade in the first race 7 at Rosehill. You've got Tom Kitten, NCAP, Celestial Legend, He-Man in race 8. Red Card, Libertad, Frilled, Derry Grove in race 9. And race 10, we finish it off with Gently Rolled, True Crime, High Blue Sea, and Dakota Varoom. $50 gets you 19.5% as always. There. Best bet around the country, mate. If your money's going to one horse and one horse only, who's going to be?
I'm stuck here. I'm really thinking behind Espionage. Who do I pick? Which one? I can't. Which one do I pick?
What's the other option?
Or Zugotcha.
Ooh, interesting. Short or value? What does he go here?
I'll go Espionage. Best of the day.
Fair enough. I'll be going Dunkel, Caulfield race 1. I'm not waiting around. I often go him, and he's usually in those early races. He's done me well before. There's not much else I can say. Long-term listeners of the podcast know how many times I've followed him and how successful he's been for me. So Dunkel will be my very best bet of the day. Can't really decide what my best at Rosehill would be. It's a very open day of racing. Anything to say before we head off, mate?
No. Good luck.
Good luck, punters. We'll see you next week.